Hello everyone, my name is Havian, and today I'm going to be playing some more Sword Art Online RE Hollow Fragment. But this time, I'm going to be showing you how I can get some skill points, or how you can get some skill points. If you remember, yesterday I did show you, or in my previous video, I did show you how much skill points I actually had and the progress I've made so far. But take a look at my skills now. In the space of half a day, this is how far I've got my weapons. And this is how many skill points I've got. I think I had like 50 or 60 skill points last time. But I'm going to show you, I thought I'll show you how you can actually get skill points and how you can actually skill your weapons up pretty quick so you can get a few more skill points. And there are a few other ways you can get skill points, but I'm going to be talking from memory and from a lot of information based on the Vita version, which I'm pretty sure is still the same. I did make a previous video showing how you can skill up your weapons a bit quicker. And skilling up your weapons does give you skill points, which you've got. I think it's like every 10 levels you gain skill points, if I remember right. Maybe wrong, maybe right. I'll check with the dagger. But I'm gonna be skilling the dagger just to show you as an example. The reason I've been keeping my level low is just for this. You can still do it when you're a high level character, but I kept my character low because it would be a lot easier for me to actually just skill up my weapons like this, because all the enemies are gonna be roughly around my level range anyway. But you can actually increase the enemies' levels in multiplayer. I skill up my weapons in multiplayer because it's a lot easier to get to the enemies that I want to, or go to the areas that I really want to, because everything's already unlocked from the beginning. But if you do want to increase the enemies' levels, you can up the difficulty a bit. So in normal, it's going to be your normal level range. In hard, I think the enemies roughly, for me, they roughly start around level 150 and upwards, and in death game, they start roughly around 200 and go up from there. So it depends on your character level. You're gonna want to fight enemies that are roughly around your level or a little bit higher. And then as your weapon skill gets higher, you're probably gonna want to move on to enemies that are slightly higher. But weapon skills are a bit weird. They're a bit weird. They level pretty quickly in the first few levels. Then they get slow once they reach level 700 to 800 maybe. And then they get fast again from 900 to 1000, which is odd. I don't understand why it does it. But it just, Philia, stop rushing me. But I don't understand why it does that, but it just does. But I'm gonna go ahead and get started. In terms of skills, I haven't really bought much skills apart from these ones that I'm gonna be using to skill up my weapons. There are multiple different skills you can actually use to do this. But I'm gonna be using speed dimming because it's unlocked from the very beginning of the game. I'm gonna be using Brave Stream, Dancing Blade, and Quick Step. There are more skills you can use for this, but I didn't want to get too many of them because I like to keep my skill menu clean. I only like to have the skills that I really want to use all the time on there. And a lot of these skills I'm probably going to end up throwing away. I'm going to be keeping, which one am I going to be keeping? No, I don't think I'm going to be keeping any. I don't think I'm going to be keeping any of them. Probably going to end up getting, after I've skilled up my weapons, I'm probably going to get rid of these skills and like just shove them down to the bottom of the list. But there are other skills you can do that make this more effective or make it a lot faster, and some of these skills probably aren't going to be as effective as other ones, but I'm just using them because they were cheap to buy and they do the job. They do your job. So they are attack speed and double attack buffs. But if you guys know of any other skills, then share it in the comments below. Let other people know, because I'm pretty sure by the time this video is done, or by the time the video's up, I'll already capped everything. But let other people know if you've got better ideas. But for the area that I go into to actually skill up is the beach, because that is roughly around my level range anyway, and the enemies are going to be roughly around my level, so I tend to go to the beach area. You can do a lot of the other areas, as long as you can actually connect your hits with the enemy, you should be okay fighting some of the high level enemies, but I tend to go for the ones that are just roughly around my level, because they do the job. Alright, so I'm gonna target one of these enemies. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna target one of these enemies. I like to bring a partner along with me so that the partner can grab the aggro and I can just focus on attacking. But there's something you're gonna have to pay attention to. When I actually start attacking the enemy, you'll probably hear me flicking the left analog stick, flicking the stick. You're gonna hear me flicking the stick. You're gonna hear me flicking the stick, and it's gonna be resetting my attack animations. And that makes the skilling up process go a little bit faster. So I'm gonna let me see if I can grab one of these enemies without aggroing another one. Yep. Now just watch, you need to watch your dagger animation to know when you should be doing a reset. Alright, so 1, 2, I'm gonna try and reset the animation after the step. Okay, so let me use all these skills at once. And I want to reset the animation after the step. Just keep an eye on the skill points I'm gaining and look at the amount of skills I'm getting. And you just want to keep doing this on enemies that are around your level. Things will start to slow down as you get slightly higher level. But you can actually reset the animations of all the weapons when you see an animation that you kind of want to skip over, because certain attack animations will have like 2 quick parts at the beginning and then a really long part. So you probably want to skip the animation just when it starts going into that long nonsense. And you don't want to be using any of your sword skills, you just want to be using normal attacks to actually do this. I did make a video previously about this, but it was like a 1 minute long video where I didn't really talk about anything. I just showed the skills that I used and then just attacked enemies, and that was that. But I thought it would be better if I actually explained myself. But there are different ways you can gain skill points. This isn't the only way. So if you actually do want to gain more skill points, you will have to. Alright, let me pay attention to this and see if you get. Yeah, so every 10 levels of a weapon, you get a skill point. But if you do want to get other skill points, you get them from going through the concealed area. Or I can't even remember what they call it in this version of the game. There's the concealed. I'll probably check after I scale this weapon a little bit. There's like, is it the abandoned area? Or maybe it is the concealed area or the something area. I'll check after this. But the area that's got another few floors that you can go through. Like I think it was 100 floors, or maybe it's more in this version of the game. But it's like a 100 floor dungeon, or it was a 100 floor dungeon. If you go through, I think it's every 10. I think it's over 10 or 20 floors. You can choose between gaining a weapon, or you can choose between getting an extra skill point. If you use a sword skill multiple times in a row and it gains a star, then you actually gain a skill point for that as well. Or not even, I don't even think it's if you gain a star. It's if you reach certain landmarks for using the skills that a certain amount of times, you'll gain a skill point for that as well. So you can get multiple skill points for actually just leveling your weapon up. And for some reason, I don't know if it's still a thing in this game. I have no idea. But in this version of the game, but in the Vita version of the game, when I'd use esoteric skills, or in this game they're called arcane skills. But when I'd use those skills, I would randomly get skill points for it. There was no reason why. There'll be some times where I'd use a skill twice in a row and I'll get a skill point for it each time. And I can't figure out why. It's not like I'm getting like any type of rank for it, for doing it a certain amount of times. I just used it once after another and I'll gain skill points for it. Can't explain why. It just happened. I don't know if that was a bug in that version of the game. Because by the end of the game, I'd like learned all my skills and I ended up with like 500 extra skill points. So it could have been a bug, but it could be something that's still inside of this version of the game. I haven't actually learned any of the arcane skills yet, so I couldn't tell you for sure. But it's something that you'll probably want to check out. But there's probably a few other ways you can gain skill points that I'm just totally forgetting. But there are a lot. If you are one of the people that actually do want to learn all of your skills and do want to create your builds and you're kind of low on skill points and you don't actually know how you get them, fastest way is mastering your weapons. That's going to be the quickest way, and then there are other ways you can gain some extra ones as well. But you can see I'm already roughly around, yeah, I'm on level 500 already. I started leveling this weapon when it was like a level 100. And you can see how fast it's going. And all of this area is something, everyone can access these areas from the beginning of the game if you just go into multiplayer. You just need to unlock multiplayer in the main storyline, which will take like 30 minutes. I'm pretty sure everyone that's played through the game and right at the beginning will have it unlocked really quick. It's pretty much something you do right at the beginning of the game, but once you have it unlocked, once you have multiplayer unlocked, then you can go ahead and jump in and do this stuff, or level your masteries. And you should be able to buy these skills fairly quick. Like if you were to, let's say you were to level, let's say if you were to level just one of your weapons, you should get enough skill points to buy a few of these attack increasing skills. I mean, at the beginning of the game, I'm pretty sure you start off with a few skill points as well. So if you really wanted to, you could just get a few of these skills and then use it to level the mastery of your other weapons. But there's probably other skills that will make this go a little bit faster, but I just picked these ones because it was quick. I didn't want to spend too many skill points on skills, because I only want to spend the skill points on the skills I want to have. That is pretty much why I haven't actually bought skill. Oh, that's what I want to do. Stop myself from leveling up. Give all my experience points to Philia. So I've been here for what? I've been in this area for about 7 minutes, and my weapon's over 500 now. Like, I'm pretty sure I was pretty sure I was inside it for about 3 minutes. I was inside of the multiplayer area. Not the actual multiplayer area, but the multiplayer lobby. I was standing inside of there talking about what I've been up to. But I'll say about 7 minutes I've been inside this I've been inside of here trying to skill up. So you can see how fast it actually is to gain your skill points if you need to. Oh, looks like we got a double spawn here. So I'm gonna see, let's see how much more I can get. Your two-handed weapons are gonna be slightly slower to level. But your one-handed weapons are gonna be really fast. So I'd say two-handed sword and great axe are gonna be the slowest one. Spear is gonna be slightly after those. It's like I'd say medium, and then the rest of the weapons are gonna be pretty quick. Mace, for a one-handed weapon, mace actually hits pretty slow. So I'd say that's probably gonna be on maybe the same level as your spears, but other one-handed weapons are quick, really quick. The dagger being one of the quicker ones. Dual wielding is gonna be another fast one as well. Dual wielding and one-handed sword is gonna be really quick. I mean, it's all gonna be down to the actual attack animations. But remember to just keep flicking that stick to cancel the final animation out, so you don't have to stand there. So I'll show you what it looks like if I stop cancelling animation. So you have to wait for the whole thing at the end to actually finish. He still moves pretty quick with a dagger, but when you flick the stick that goes a lot bit quicker. It's like there's no stopping the animations. It's just constant hits. And I just flip the stick forward so I don't actually like start strafing around the enemy. It steps towards the enemy and it just keeps you on target. There we go, I'm just flicking the stick. But you can see now, once I've reached level 600 or mastery 600, my skill points are starting to lessen a bit. And when they start to lessen a bit, when they start to get to like 0.1, I generally start moving on to like higher level enemies. But since I'm still getting 0.3s, 0.4s, this still seems to be fine. Or it still seems to be an area that seems to be decent. Or these enemies that are around my level still seem to be decent. I would say what I usually do is, when I get my weapon mastery a little bit higher, your accuracy gets higher with that weapon. So I tend to attack the enemies, get my mastery a little bit higher, get my weapon's accuracy a bit better, and then I'll switch the game into hard mode. I'll go to the very first area you actually enter in the game, which is in the Sea of Trees. That teleport point that is right in front of the big temple in the Sea of Trees area. Probably teleport over there and show you in a bit. But I go there and I'll fight, on hard mode, I'll fight level 50 skeletons. And because they're like, my level's really low and their level's still pretty low, or like the first enemies in the game, they don't really hit too hard. So I can still fight them effectively without losing pretty much any HP. And I can skill up my final few levels on them. But level 700 to 900 goes really slow. I have no idea why. 900 onwards, you're getting like 0.4 a hit from them. For some reason. Don't know why. But the higher level from 900 onwards is quick. No idea why they've done it, but it's just something that happens. I'm trying to think of any other places that actually did have, I'm trying to think of other places that did actually have skill points. There probably is. There's probably like loads of other hidden ways you can get skill points, but I just don't remember the other ones. But those are like the ones I mentioned before, like the main ones. Skilling up your masteries, leveling up your sword skills, or leveling up your skills in general, and by spamming your arcane or esoteric skills. It's not really possible to spam anymore because you can't just do them one after another. You have to wait for the cooldowns on the skills this time, in this version of the game. But that's just something you could do in the previous one. So for those of you that are still playing the Vita version, and you're going to end up transferring your save over to this version of the game, try it out. Try doing a few of those things to actually get some more skill points before you transfer over. Just to see whether or not it was something that was just based on the esoteric skills or the arcane skills from the Vita version, where you could just use the same skill over and over again and get extra skill points for it. It didn't happen all the time, so don't think you're going to get one skill point for every use. It's just something that just seemed to happen randomly. There you go, so you can still see me getting some skill points. And I'm not entirely sure if using sword skills actually increases your mastery as well. If it does, it's probably going to be a little bit slower because the animations for your sword skills are really long. So I generally like just using normal attacks. And I like having my normal attacks on my... I can't do a sidestep or anything like that, or I can't evade or block. That's why I like to fight enemies that I can live against. And that's why I like to pick enemies that are like... That's why I wanted to stay a really low level, because all the low level enemies are easy. They don't do any damage to you, and you can level up your sword skills without taking much damage. Or level up your your masteries without taking too much damage. But I've put all of my attacks, I've put all of my buffs on my main palette, and I've removed like stuff like dodge, parry, and all those kind of skills. So I can't do those, but it just makes it really quick to access the buffs if I need them. Still getting good EXP on these guys, so I don't think I need to move away just yet. But I will show you what I mean in a second with the other enemies. And I'll see if I can figure out the name of that other area, the concealed area. Whatever they call it in this version of the game now. But I think it's something that you actually have to do in offline mode. I don't know if it's something you can do in online mode. And that concealed area, I believe, is something that unlocks after you've completed the hollow area. But I'm gonna go ahead and... You've seen how many skill points I got. So in that short amount of time, roughly around 10 minutes I was in this area, I've gained 667. 667. Well, probably around 567. I think my dagger was like roughly around level 100. But you can see how I got my weapon skills so ridiculously high in such a short space of time. And got a lot of skill points, so now I can actually create some sort of a build. And then I can start getting some more skill points later on. You probably won't be able to use the skill points I've got right now to level every single one of my sword skills. I don't think I'll be able to buy every single one of my sword skills at once, at the same time as buying normal skills or battle skills. So I'm gonna probably pick a weapon that I actually want, and then I'll buy some battle skills that surround that weapon, or make that weapon a bit more powerful. So let's see, what is the name of this area? Classified zone. Okay, so they called it a classified zone in this game, but I believe it's something that I believe it's a skill point thing. It's something you get when you're playing in offline mode and not in online mode. But I think in the Vita version, it was just you and your partner that could go in there, and if you got if you got far into it with just the two of you, then you'll get skill points for every few floors you actually complete. And then I'm gonna switch to the hard mode now. Return to communications. And I'll show you exactly what I was talking about. So if you are roughly around level 50, or you are slightly lower than level 50, then I suggest this is what you can do for some of the final levels. So I'm gonna switch it to hard. Don't need to change the quest. You can just leave it the same as the same quest. You can just have it as any quest, to be honest. And then I want to teleport right here. So this is like the first area you start off in the game. I don't know if my accuracy will be alright to kill him right now, but I'm going to try. So they're level 153. So if you are roughly around level 150 and you want to skill up your weapons, I guess this is a place you can come to. Just set the game to like hard difficulty and then just teleport over here. So I'm going to grab this temple skeleton. Like I am lower level than it, but it's still not going to really hit me too hard. And if it does hit me hard, then I can just use one protection prayer and it'll just give me regen, and that will be enough to offset. There you go, you can see I'm getting more skill points now. But the skill points will start to slightly go down once I reach like 700. That's when the skill points will start to decrease. But the flip side, these enemies have got much higher HP, so I don't need to keep running out to grab enemies. I can just fight this one guy. But I do have enough accuracy to actually hit it, so that's the good thing. As long as you've got enough accuracy to hit higher level enemies and you know they're not going to kill you, then you're fine to skill up on them. And I'm wondering, you could probably create like a in multiplayer mode, you could probably create like a skill up party. If you know like you or your friends want to actually skill up as well, and you know you can actually hit, all of you can actually hit the enemy if you're wearing like accuracy gear. I mean, that's one of the other things that I've done. I put as many pieces of gear on that had accuracy as I could. So anything that had some sort of accuracy, I pushed it on, or something that added to a stat that added more accuracy. I added that to my character, so I'll be able to actually hit the enemies. And this dagger, I believe, has got a little bit of accuracy on it as well, so it does help. But you can see the amount of skill points again. It's gonna start heading into the 700s now. So you can see the point ones are starting to kick in. Every now and then, like a 0.3 or 0.4 jump will fly in there, but for the majority of the 700s to 900s, it's going to be like 0.1s you're going to get. Then once you reach 900, then you'll start getting like 0.4 again, which is it's pretty random. I don't know why it does it, but it does it. And I don't mean like 0.4 every now and then. I mean like it's constant 0.4, almost like you're leveling up your weapon skill after 2 or 3 hits. But yeah, I guess that is how you skill up your weapons. That is how you do it. I'm gonna continue killing this guy, getting my skills going. But if this video did help you, and if you think it will help some other people that are wondering how they can skill up their weapons, then I suggest you share this video with them. And if you do want to see more videos about this game and any of the other things that I discovered, then I suggest you subscribe. If you're not already subscribed, tell your friends about the channel, let them know. But I'll be making some more videos very soon. But until then, I'll see you all later.